Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So, a joint Washington Post and ABC poll showed that Biden's approval is at an all-time low. He has only 37% support. 55% of those polled said that they disapprove of Biden, and of those, 44% strongly disapprove. Now, there is a partisan divide in these results. It's pretty clear. Only 77% of Democrats approve of Biden, though. So that's not good. I mean, even, Trump had much higher approval rating among Republicans. So not real good. And probably most important in determining who's going to end up in charge of the House and the Senate after the midterms is how independents are feeling about Biden's presidency. Not good. 61% of independents disapprove of Biden. And when respondents were asked if they'd like to see Republicans or Democrats in charge of Congress after the midterms, 50% said they want Republicans in control. Only 40% favored Democrats. And it's clear where Biden's failing. Only 37% approve of his handling of the economy, compared to 58% who disapprove, and a majority blame Biden and or the Democrats for what's going on with the economy. 54% say the economy has gotten worse since Biden took office, and a full 50% said that Biden bears a good deal of responsibility for the inflation rates, which, I'm not a Biden supporter. I'm not a huge Biden fan, but, people just aren't paying attention. When asked if Biden is a strong leader, 59% said no. Only 36% said yes. And among independents, 65% answered negatively when they were asked if he was a strong leader. A majority questioned Biden's cognitive function. 54% said that they don't believe he has the mental capability to serve as president. One bit of good news that came out of this poll is engagement among voters. I mean, overall, it's good, but 67% of adults and then 75% of registered voters said that they will definitely be voting in the midterms. However, Democrats continue. They've had this problem from the beginning. They continue to have an issue with enthusiasm. 82% of voters who support Republican candidates say, yes, I am certain to vote in the midterms. On the other end of the spectrum, though, 74% only of Democrats or people who support Democratic candidates say that they will absolutely be voting in the midterms. You can't win if your people don't show up. And more voters, this is another thing they found, more voters identify now as Republican than as Democrat. 46% of adults identify as Republicans, which is an increase of 5% since just June of last year. Conversely, those who identify as Democrats has dropped. In April of 2021, it was 48%. Now it stands at only 43%. And it appears that once again, like I said, what's driving this is money. What's driving these changes is money. 54% of adults say that they trust Republicans in regard to the economy, and only 35% said that they trust Democrats more. That's really bad, you guys. That is the number one thing that Democrats need to handle. It makes no sense, right? To anyone who's paying attention, the policies that each party represents, that they get behind, that they promote, it doesn't make sense. But, when you're dealing with people who are working 40 plus hours a week, they're maybe even working multiple jobs, then they go home, they start their second or third job taking care of their children, their family. They don't have time to get into the nitty gritty, all the details about who stands for what, who's trying to pass different relief packages, who's blocking it. All they know is that they're personally feeling the heat, that they're feeling squeezed. They look at their bank account and they don't have as much money. It's not going as far. They're feeling squeezed at the gas pump. They're feeling squeezed in the grocery store. They don't have time to research supply chain issues or to understand how Saudi is aligning with Russia and working to keep gas prices high. And they don't give a damn. They just want results. They just want the government to do something for them for once instead of their corporate masters. This is why allowing the child tax credit to expire before the midterms or at all was such a monumental failure on behalf of the Democrats. What the hell were they thinking? Now, I will say this poll included only 1,011 adults, and they were interviewed via cell phone and landline. So take that into consideration because the majority of these respondents are obviously going to be older Americans. I mean, I don't know anyone under the age of like 70 who actually has a landline anymore. And I don't know anyone at all who answers unknown numbers. So consider that. However, if passed as prologue, this could mean even worse results for Dems in the midterm, because over the last 5+ years, what we've been seeing is that these polls have appeared to underestimate Republican enthusiasm and sentiments. So it's hard to say. But either way, Democrats need to start paying attention to this, and they need to pull out all the stops. Biden needs to use the bully pulpit that he has. He needs to start putting pressure on certain lawmakers. He also needs to whip out that pen, and he needs to start signing more executive orders and using the powers that he has. Unfortunately, some of those powers now are going away because the pandemic is kind of winding down, or it at least appears to be. He could have exerted a lot of power while the pandemic was raging because he had certain authorities that are granted to him in times of emergency. And he chose not to use it. He chose not to do those things. Anyway, guys, if I hear any more, I'll let you know. Thanks so much for watching, listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.